All right, Shalom. Let me get straight into this lesson. But the spirit jumped on me to go into this whole calendar. I'm just going to be touching up on how we kept time. So what our people know today is a Gregorian calendar, but we didn't use this calendar. This calendar is not part of our culture. I'm going to show you how we kept time. And this is very important for many different reasons because you got a lot of our people, still caught up in the ways and the philosophies and the learnings and teachings of this world. They consider the Sabbath to be Friday sundown to Saturday sundown. That's a false understanding. That's a false doctrine. Now, let me say it like this. On certain new moons, when it is applicable, yeah, the Sabbath would be Friday sundown to Saturday sundown based on the new moon. So sometimes the new moon will fall in that particular, Friday sundown to Saturday sundown, but the Sabbath changes every month and it's based on the new moon. So you have to really understand this. So the Sabbath is not, a Shabbat. It's not Friday sundown to Saturday sundown because we're on a pagan calendar. We're in the pagan system. I can't make it no clearer than that. When you go into the word Saturn, means Saturday, it goes back into the word Saturn, which is a Roman/Greco-Roman god. So that's folly. So this is why the scripture was written right here. So I'm gonna break a lot of stuff down to you so you can get some clarity on this because this is a huge stumbling block. The Sabbath, what brings in the Sabbath is a new moon, right? So a new moon comes in that determines a new month. And the 7th day would be the Sabbath. Simple as that. It's not Friday sundown and Saturday sundown unless the new moon comes in on that day. Simple as that. So you got people think it's Friday sundown to Saturday sundown. That's nothing but confusion. That's not true. That's a false doctrine. You're using the Edomite calendar to do your you're trying to mix oil and water. I'm gonna show you what I mean. 2 Peter 3:16. As also in all his epistles, speaking in them of these things which are some things hard to be understood. It's a lot of stuff in these scriptures that you have to be studious, you have to be learned, you have to be on a level to understand. You can't just pick this up one day and get it, right? It takes time. Which they that are unlearned, so you have to be learned. Most of our people are unlearned, but they think they learned. And unstable, many of our people are unstable. They got many false doctrines. It's almost 1 trillion false doctrines. And I'm being a little funny with it, but that's not too far-fetched. What I'm trying to say is you have a lot of great false doctrines, right? I'm not saying it's 1 trillion, but I'm using that to be funny. But you get what I'm saying. As they do also to other scriptures until their own destruction. So what our people do a lot of time when they waking up, even if they've been in the truth for a little while, they try to filter this American culture through the Bible, and it just don't work like that. Oil and water don't mix. So let's get all into this. How did we keep time? So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, this is all folly. This is all a new concept to us. We didn't keep time that way. So what our people do is many arguments using this calendar. We didn't use this calendar. So how do we keep time? Leviticus 23:5. So it's based on the new moon, right? That's the first establishment. It says in the 14th day of the first month at even is the Lord's Passover. So the 14th day of the first month. So the first month is saying the first month. It didn't say no goddamn January, right? It says the first month. We kept it by numbers, right? First month and on the 14th day, right? That's it. Simple as that. So on the first month, which would be on this calendar around March and April, in between that time frame, when things start to spring back into life, that's the first month. And when you go into the word month, I'm gonna show you something. This will clear a lot of confusion up as well. And you might have to watch this lesson over and over to get it because you wasn't taught this. This is a hard saying, month, Right here, it says, let's get straight to the point. It says, see moon. It says originally the month was interval between one new moon to the next. Do you hear this? So this is how you tell time according to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. We didn't use this pagan system. Let me reload this. Salakia. And this with all the confusion comes in because you Jakes use this calendar, which is the Gregorian calendar, and you try to filter that through the Bible. That this particular calendar didn't have nothing to do with the Bible. We didn't keep time that way. We weren't going throughout the week and say, hey, what's up on Monday? What's up on Tuesday? Are you going to work on Wednesday? We didn't use that terminology. This is a pagan, this is a heathen custom. And you Jakes got to really understand it because you're trying to, that's why you have to study to show yourself approved. You have to study these things, and some things can get very deep. Let's keep going. So we know the word month means moon. How we tell time? Based on the new moon. Right? If you watch it, once the new moon come in, it's like that little slither of light, right? Like it's almost blacked out. Then it'll work itself to a full moon in about 14 days. Then it'll break itself back down. That's a moon cycle. So every like 29 to 30 days, something like that. I haven't went over the information. It's a lot. But you get what I'm saying. It's not based on, and a lot of bug guys think the new moon is the full moon. That's another false doctrine. No. As a matter of fact, let me show you this. Pretty good one right here. So you see at the top, we're going to count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15, 20, 25. Yeah, 25 days. So, which this is a little off, but matter of fact, I'm trying to get a good one. Okay, let's use this one. So, it's about 30 days, right? Salakia, 30 days. So, matter of fact, let me go back. And this would take a whole hour just to break all this down, but I just want to show you the concept. I can do this. I can be precise with it in another lesson, but to show you the concept, you see to the top, to the left, you see how the new moon comes in, right? And it starts to, get more light, right? As it's going through these phases each day. And about the middle of the month, it's at a full moon. And then you see how it breaks itself back down. So it's breaking itself back down and going to another new moon. So that's 1 month. Then it will be the second month, right? Start the phase over again. Then the third month, we weren't calling it January, February, March, April. That's not how we kept time. So you have to understand that going back into Leviticus 23 and 5, it says in the 14th day, it didn't say Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday. It says the 14 days based on numbers. Of the first month, it didn't say January here. And we didn't, that's not when the year starts anyway. That's the worship of the god Janus. So you got a lot of confusion on you that you've been taught. It says that at even is the Lord's Passover. So, I deal with that a whole nother day. But yeah, that's why you have to study to show yourself approved. So that's a lot I'm probably going to have to do a part 2. Right here. It says in the time of Yahweh, the days of the week were referred to by their position within the week. It says using Hebrew terms, first day, right? So we didn't use Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's all based on a pagan system. Numerical. So right here, the names of days of the week are numerical. Salakia. So day 1, day 2, day 3, month 1, month 2, instead of, so on and so forth. You get it? Right here. Let me show you this. So a lot of our people are very unlearned. They don't know a lot of stuff. There's many things to be learned. That brings you out of complete ignorance. It says right here at the top, no Jewish, which we know Jewish is newspeak. They talking about the Israelites. No Israelite people during the time of Yahweh did not follow the Julian calendar. So before you had the Gregorian calendar, you had the Julian calendar, which is after the Roman Emperor Julius Caesar, right? They use their own lunar calendar. What does lunar mean? That's let me show you this. 1 second. Right here, lunar. It says adjective lunar is used to describe something that is related to the moon. Well, there you go. Let's go back here. So we use the moon, which goes back into the word moon means month. So that's how we determine time. And we didn't call it January, February, March, April, all that. That's all going back into the Roman system, which Edomites, and it's a pagan system. Salakia. Let me go back here. Let's get back into this. It says, no, Israelite people during the time of Yahweh did not follow the Julian calendar. Because before you had the Gregorian calendar, you had a Julian calendar. Do your research on all this. It's a lot to go into. It says they use their own lunar, which means the moon calendar. Why did the Most High set it up this way? Because it cannot be tampered with. It cannot be manipulated. The moon cannot be tampered with. That's why he put us on that time. A calendar in man's terminology can be tampered with. That's why you got this pagan calendar from the Roman Empire that you follow today that's named after these different so-called gods. It says, which was based on the cycles of the moon. You hear this? It says the Julian calendar, which was adopted by the Roman Empire around the time of Yahweh's birth, was distinct from the Jewish calendar, which means Israelite calendar. We didn't keep time the same way. So a lot of you think, it's a lot of stuff that you think, we didn't use Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That wasn't in our vocabulary, so you can understand. Now, you had Israelites that had assimilated to the Roman system because they, sold out and so on and so forth. Our people was doing business. Now, they would, if they assimilated into the Roman Empire, you had Israelites that was scattered throughout the whole Roman Empire at that time that had fully assimilated to that culture. They was using these particular days, days and months, right, as they called them back then. And, but we didn't follow that way. The Israelites that followed, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, we didn't use none of that. Now, we probably would do business using a system to a certain degree, but we wouldn't conform to their system, if that makes sense. And Jake, why do Jake just don't know a lot of this history, and that's why they lost. Right here. Timekeeping at the time of Yahweh Shai. At the top, it says during the time of Yahweh Shai, Jews, which are Israelites, would have used their own lunar calendar, while the Romans who ruled over Judea would have used the Julian calendar. Different communities within the Roman Empire would have used different calendars depending on their cultural and religious traditions. You hear this? It's simple as that. Now, let's go here, because I got a lot more to get to. And did you know that before you had the 7-day calendar, they had an 8-day week calendar. Before you had the 7-day, and then you had other coaches had 10 week weeks, 10-day weeks. Salakia. Let me show you this. I'm just not gonna be able to get to it all. Right here. So before the Julian calendar came in, they used to have 8-day week cycles. And in Egypt, they had 10-day week cycles. So all you know is 7-day week cycle. That's not, let's see. And these devils, they do the opposite. So they do a solar calendar. They don't go off the new moon. At one time they did, but they switched it up. But again, I'm gonna have to do a part 2. But you have to get this understanding. And I bet you a lot of you didn't know this. Now you know. So you have to start growing more understanding. Like I said, I'm gonna do a part 2. Lord willing, to go more, elaborate more on this so you can have the knowledge. Hopefully this lesson has been edifying. Call Halal Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rachak, Quadash. Shalom.